Let's get back to Phil Kosin and Chicagoland Golf on 670 The Score.
You got a tee time today at 7 o'clock. You're about 3 minutes late. I believe you get till, if your name is called and you're not there 5 minutes, then it's you're disqualified. After 2 minutes, it's a 2-stroke penalty for not being there on time and ready to go. Anyway, we have Florida weather here. They have Florida weather where our guest is. And I'm, you know what, and he's one of those guys that we've had on this show many times, and he needs no introduction whatsoever. They say he's a top 50 teacher, but I'm going to put him certainly in the top 5, and that would be Doc Jim Suddy, who will be back to Cog Hill when, Jim?
Oh, hi, Phil. The 15th of May, right around that area there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you will spend the summer here working in the barn.
Yeah, that's right.
And thereabouts.
The barn has seen many a player there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Who are some of the tour players that you're currently working with? I know you work with Lauren Roberts, one of the best putters ever.
Right. Well, several, but, they bounce around because they're always looking for help. But I work with Mark Wilson and Lauren Roberts, George McNeil, and Matt Bouchette. There's just several of the rookies that come out. Actually, Kevin Streelman, when he was a youngster, I worked with him right up until he went to Arizona. So just work on fundamentals with stuff that's fundamentally sound. So.
Yeah, Kevin's been on this show before, and he always speaks very highly of you.
He's a great kid.
And says that he said you're very instrumental in his being where he is today. Mm-hmm. So. But you knew that already. I don't have to tell you that.
Well, yeah, nobody can take credit for these guys' success because they're so, they sweat their way out there and they stay out there, so they do it.
I guess Frank Jemsek, I talked to him this week. I guess you're now working with Nicole Jure?
Yes, Nicole actually came down here this winter, and we did some things in her swing, and she seems to be quite excited about it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she had a number 3. And then last weekend, she was tied for second, I think, after the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was one of those goofy weekends where they had weather, and she played, she got started on her second round and played one hole, and then they whistled it for darkness, and then they finished in wind and rain on Sunday, and they didn't play the third round, and it's really easy to get discombobulated. But it seems like she's playing much better. And, she's 38 years old. And if I saw, when I see her the next time, I'd say to her, it's about time.
Well, you got to give her credit. She really pushes puts forth her best effort, and she stays very, very positive. And you have to do that if you're going to play any tour. So,
what's the difference between teaching men and women?
Well, actually, I think men are. They more want it now, so to speak. So if you have an hour lesson with a guy, he wants his ball flight fixed and somewhat a couple ideas of a better swing. Women, I think generally, are more long-term, where they'll put up a little adversity the first couple lessons and look for the long-term cure and go the full route, where men are a little impatient. So,
well, not only are you an instructor, but you also need to be what? You need to be a psychologist.
Absolutely.
You need to be a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be a good ear.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you need to be a babysitter, don't you?
Oh, yeah. The personalities that you see, you have to teach the person according to his learning style and how he learns, and also what that person wants in front of you. He might want a quick fix. He might want, I want to redo my swing. So, it's just a golf teacher these days is, like you say, Phil, he's a complete package. You can't just be a good teacher with a bunch of information anymore. So,
Wally Euling it was quoted a couple weeks ago in Golf Digest as saying that, in effect, I'll paraphrase, For the last number of years, I would say it's probably 5 years, we've run right up against the line with the golf ball, right up against the line with the golf clubs. And that's why I tell my readers and listeners, if you have a golf club that you think needs replacing because you can hit somebody else's farther, if you have a driver that you bought in the last 5 years, keep it because it's good enough. You're not going to buy distance anymore, and it's the same thing with golf balls. So how does that factor in to what you're doing with your touring pros who make a living doing this?
Well, a touring pro, he'll have the trucks right out there on the tee there. The different manufacturers will give them 5, 6, 7, 8 different clubs during their practice rounds at times, and they have the opportunities to test the clubs and find out which one works for them. I would say equipment is about 20 to 25% of the overall picture, and 75% of it is golf swing. But you have to find, this is a general statement, Phil, but I would say overall the heads now are just about all the same in the weighting, but at the shaft and how you flex the shaft is a big key. Finding the shaft that bends when you load it and unload it is the key to the fitting process right now. So.
Let me throw out an idea, and then you react to it. I have said and written for a long time that with these drivers where the heads, the technology has gone up to 400 cc's, which is the loaf of a small rye bread at Vasecki's in Berwyn. The sweet spots are so big. When I started playing, we had persimmon. The sweet spot might have been the size of the fingernail on my pinky finger, whereas today it's as big as a silver dollar, which allows these guys who they're not any bigger, they're not any stronger than guys were years ago. They may put in a little more time to their game, but that's because there's so much money at stake. But these guys, because of the equipment and a golf ball that undeniably goes so much straighter than what we played with years ago, those guys just step up to the plate and wail on it. Do you try to control that in your players?
No, actually, the game is different now. When you and I started out, the sweet spot was a little smaller, and now you see the whole game as far as the swing. The tour players have gone to more of a left or right shot overall because they can miss it way out on the toe and still get a pretty good shot. So what you'll see is more cut swings on the tour, and the average guy shouldn't really be trying to do that. But I'm just saying that's what you see on the tour, a lot of left or right shots and really hitting it hard, trying to hit a hard left or right shot so they take out one side of the fairway. In fact, it's very difficult to work the ball with the new equipment, I think. I think they're designed really just to go straight, so.
And yet, though, some of the amateurs that come to you seeking help, they have no problem hitting a banana ball with today's equipment.
Yeah, they figure out a way to, you might say, not do it right.
What is the most common? Guy comes in, says, here's the money. I've got an hour with you. Analyze my swing for me. What's the most common things that you see in amateur players? And I'm talking about not highly competitive amateurs like a Bill Sheehan, or a Joel Hirsch or some of these other guys, but I'm talking about the average guy, maybe a 14 to 12 handicap.
Well, everybody's so stressed out now, Phil, for various different reasons. I'd say tension level is number one. They hold the club so tightly they just cannot release it. And also the tighter you hold it, the less you can make a body turn. So I always start with grip, because the grip controls the club face and the tension level, and then try to get a guy releasing the golf club. If he can release the club, he can hit a reasonably good shot. And then, work on the ball flight first, get that going right, and then start looking at maybe two specific things in the swing that create a little bit more power. But I would say the release, to answer your question, is the biggest thing. A lack of a release and tension level would be my answers to that question.
Well, one of the things you kind of pioneered was matching a person's swing to their body type. A lot of guys talked about it. You're the one that perfected it.
Right.
It's in your book. In other words, folks, what he does is if you walk in and you have the body shape of Craig Stadler, he's going to try to teach you a swing that works with your body type, because you can't have Craig Stadler use Tiger Woods' swing.
Well, that's so true, and we're all we see the magazines, Phil, and we see the instructional articles and stuff, and we say, gosh, the Tiger's saying to do it this way. Well, your body, it doesn't allow you to do certain things, and what a person has to design his golf swing around what his body allows him to do in terms of flexibility, lever length, and amount of body fat. So that's how I teach golf. I try to teach according to, number one, what the person's ball flight, what they want, number two, what their body's going to allow them to do, and then try to time it up with a good synchronization. So, everybody's different. I've not seen two swings alike in my entire career, and I think it'll always be that way. It's just the nature of a golf swing.
If you just joined us, we're talking to golf instructor extraordinaire Doc Jim Suddy, who will be at Cog Hill starting around May 15th. And later on, we'll give you a phone number where you can make yourself an appointment. Not only do you work with amateurs, Doc, but you kind of specialize in working with guys that have problems like with their back.
Oh, yes. That's a great question, Phil. I had back surgery, 3 of them, in fact, and a spinal fusion in '89. So, unfortunately, I went to golf teaching mostly because, I couldn't play that much. But if you do have a bad back, there are ways to take pressure off your spine, and you still can play golf. Not as good as you once could, but you still can play golf pain-free if you have the right fundamentals. That's very true. Mm-hmm.
All right, we're talking to Doc Suddy. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll chit-chat some more, and then we'll open up the phone lines. And you guys, if you have a question about your swing, you can talk to the doctor. The phone number here, if you are new to this show, 312-644-6767, and we'll try to keep the answers short so we can talk to as many of you as possible. I'll take a break now. This is Phil Kosin. This is the Chicagoland Golf Show. You're listening to The Score, Sports Radio 670, and this is CBS Radio Chicago. .719 in Chicago. If you got a tee time today, keep an eye toward the sky, will you? We have some thunder and lightning. That's the dangerous part. Due to come into the Chicago area within the next couple hours and then again later in the day. So be aware of your surroundings. Let's just leave it at that, because we want you back here every week listening and reading Chicagoland Golf. Our guest on this portion of the show is Doc Suddy, who is one of the top teachers in the country. You know him. He'll be down at Cog Hill starting about May 15th. Doc, whatever happened to shot making? I know I'm full of excellent questions this morning, as always.
It is. Yeah, you're
whatever
great.
happened to shot making?
Went down the tubes, but you see the real shot makers, the younger guys have just lost that whole idea. But, and just talking to Lauren Roberts, who I've taught for a few years now, he says it's a thing of the past. And, taking a 5-iron instead of a 6 and choking down and trying to cut a little shot into the corner pin, like you say, has kind of been a thing of the past. People now are just swinging at it hard, and they're going right at the pin, and just they're playing very aggressively. There's no conservative players basically out there anymore. So I think the equipment caused it, and the courses, they're getting longer. So I think those are the major reasons for it.
And it's discriminatory, if you want to be honest about it, because it's eliminated players of the Corey Pavin ilk. They just can't compete, and you're going to see that at Bethpage in July, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
or June.
Yeah, it's just going to be full up power, just swing hard and go at it, So it is now a power game, and it's a shame in a way, but I like the way it used to be myself. So. Okay,
you observe everybody that's out on tour.
Yes, I do. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Of course, we don't have to say Tiger Woods has one of the best swings in golf.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard Steve Elkington had one of the most pure swings in golf. and I've heard a lot of other names. But from you, through the perspective of Doc Sutty, who does this for a living, who are some of the better swings in golf that you've seen? And you could go to the ladies' side, too.
Well, you know, I really like Trevor Embleman's swing. It's very simple and compact, and I look at swings in terms of less motion, if they're good ones. The less motion, the better. The more efficient the motion is. You know, when you get a lot of motion going, you got a lot of room for error. Even though Freddie Couples looks tremendous, it's long, slow, and lazy. He's got a lot of room for error there, and it's not as efficient as maybe a Trevor Embleman or a Fred Funk. A swing can look kind of different, but if it's efficient, like I thought Lee Trevino's swing was very efficient. You know, it was short and used his body very well. So those swings that sometimes don't look so good, if they're efficient and they create a lot of speed, that's what I would consider a good swing.
Well, that's a difference between a ball striker and a shot maker.
Right.
Anybody can get up there. Now, you know, I've got guys that are driving to the golf course and girls this morning going to play, and they watch the people in their group and how fast the swing speeds are. And this is another great question. I'm getting goose pimples here as these great questions are coming, because I don't write this stuff down. I just make it up as I go.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of people watching 3 other golf swings all day today or tomorrow or next week. And you see the speed at some of the public courses or at some of the courses anywhere. You see the speed at some of these swings, yet they don't hit it anywhere near as far as a guy like Freddie Couples, who's got a bad back and everything else. So where does Freddie's distance come from if the swing speed is so slow?
Well, in his case, it's really from center face impact, and his acceleration is at the right time. He doesn't accelerate early. A lot of the amateurs out there will, even though it looks pretty, are releasing the club early in the hitting area, and they're losing.
Is that called casting?
Yeah, casting and early right hand, right side use. But Freddie saves everything to the last minute and uses body and his body rotation to the nth degree. So, and again, Phil, everybody gets their power from different power sources. So Fred just happens to have the fast hip rotation and the high swing and a lot of lag in his downswing. So.
Well, I have to laugh because the RNA came out with another Brainiac paper recently that said that they may be extending the Open Championship course this year to account for the bigger and stronger players of today that are getting more distance. And I don't think it's bigger and stronger players at all. I think it's all in the golf ball, isn't it?
Yeah, the golf ball is actually too hot, in my opinion, and we either have to get it back to where it was or make the courses longer, and they've decided basically to make the courses longer and hit the ball farther because it gives us more spectators, so to speak. Everybody wants to see it go 1,000,000 miles, and look at the tour average distance, and I think your tour average is around almost 290 now, so that's pretty far, where tour average used to be 270. So
I remember walking around Butler Natural years ago during a Western Open and hearing about this new guy that hit the ball so far he was averaging 270 yards a drive, and his name was Davis Love III. And now he wouldn't even be in the top 100 with that number. Yeah. Right. All right, you know what? Let's take a break, and then we'll see if we can get some callers that have a question for Jim Doc Sutty. He'll be back at Cog Hill starting May 15th. The call-in number, 312-644-6767. This is a great opportunity to get some help for your golf swing. This is the Chicagoland Golf Show. I'm Phil Kosin. You're listening to The Score, Sports Radio 670, CBS Radio, Chicago. Just an update on the radar. Bloomington, Illinois is about to get it pretty good. And then there's some light showers on their way in just this side of Route 39 heading toward the Chicago area. And it's going to be like that all day long. Pay attention if you're going out to play. And make sure you always in the back of your mind have a place to run to if there's lightning. And so now the listeners get a special treat, and they get to talk to Dr. Jim Sutty right here on the Chicagoland Golf Show. Let's start out with Tom in LaGrange. You're on with the world-famous, the ubiquitous Doc Sutty.
Morning,
Hi, Tom.
Doc. Hey, good morning.
Hi, Tom.
Yeah, I got a problem.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
My shaft's so big, I can't get two girls to put their hands around it.
Were we successful there?
What can you do about that?
Okay, good. Sorry, but we're not looking for clowns to call in. We're looking for good listeners. Tom and Gilbert's, how are you, Tom?
Good morning. How are you? I have a question. Normally, 7-iron, I hit about 150 yards, and I struggle with my driver to get it 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an idea of what I'm doing wrong.
Well, it sounds to me, really not knowing your swing, but if I used to hit my short irons very well, which would mean I had a steep swing. So what you need to do is shallow out your golf swing. By that I mean make it flatter or more rounded, and you'll start hitting that driver farther. In other words, just a flatter golf swing, definitely with the driver, would definitely help you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm, you got it.
Okay, Kevin in a car phone. You're on with Doc Suddy. I guess we lost Kevin. Well, do we have any more calls, Dave?
Hold on one moment
up?
here. We actually lost the doctor, so hold on. I'll get him back.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, let's see. God, I'm at a loss for words. Not really. You know what? I was looking at the, as long as I got a break here, and it was something I wanted to mention anyway, I was looking at the results of the Futures Tour. And, of course, it's only after the first round. They're playing in the historic Brownsville Open. It's got a pretty good purse for a Futures Tour event. It's $110,000, and they're down in Rancho Viejo, Texas. And I look at the leaderboard this morning, in our own Sarah Lynn Sargent, who grew up here as Sarah Johnstone, and she's an Illinois Women's Open champion. She shot 69 yesterday, so hopefully Sarah Sargent is back on track. And before we get out of the show, I'll look up to see if Nicole Geray's playing, and also Jenna Pearson. So we got Doc Suddy back on with us, and we lost our caller. So Doc, you and I'll talk, and maybe we'll get the board straightened out. Okay. Do these guys all come to you, and the ladies from the LPGA Tour, when they seek help, do they come to you, or do you go out on tour ever and look at swings on the range before an event?
Well, I think the way I've done it in the past, I haven't really ever solicited my help on anybody. I think the word of mouth actually travels. You don't want to go up to a guy if he's happy with what he's doing, because you could just make him worse, because that's his living. So I think word of mouth on the tour, and word of mouth is your best advertising as an amateur. If an amateur to amateur, they'll say, well, my game has gotten better, and this is a guy I went to see. So I think that's how I've done it in the past, Phil. I've never tried to really solicit my help or push my help on anybody. So.
Okay, Dave, repeat those to me again, would you, in my ear? Or just tell us on the air. We'll produce on the air.
No problem. We have Tom in Cockhill and also Mitch in River Forest, so we'll go to Tom first.
Okay, good. You're on with Jim Suddy, Tom.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. I'm actually being off Dubs Dread in about a half hour. My question for the doctor is, I'm a scratch player who has really kind of flattened my swing out to kind of match my personality. I walk fast, I move fast, I talk fast, and I would never be able to hit a throwing type of sting swing. I just want your opinion on personality and the swing. Do they kind of match each other?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. It's like Nick Price is very quick, and Tommy Armour III. The worst thing you could do for those two players is tell them to take it back slow and pause at the top, because that's not their style of play. They're going to be short and quick, and that's going to be their personality type, and that's how they're going to play their game. And that's one thing a teacher should look at, what a guy does naturally, and try to kind of work it into a person's game. But you're doing the right thing by going fast. You're kind of a hitter and not a swinger, and that's how I would approach it. You're probably a right-sided player too, and not a left-sided player. So those kind of things have to match up and work in your swing. So you're down the right road there.
I'm glad you mentioned Tommy Armour III, because that's kind of what I modeled my swing, and it's like the faster, it's just less margin for error.
Exactly. And Arnold Palmer was that way in his career too, very quick and fast, and very fast twitch muscle fiber, and that's probably what you are too. You were probably a sprinter and not a distance runner. So
not at all. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Caller, did you say you were teeing off on number 4?
They were playing dubs in about a half hour. Yeah.
I thought it wasn't open yet.
No, it did. They actually opened it up last weekend, and
to the regular tee time holders.
Yeah.
It's not open to the public yet.
Well, I don't think it is.
No, they're not selling tee times because I talked to Frank Jemsick yesterday.
Okay.
Here, please.
Okay, great.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, that's a little perk for you guys. Okay, we got Mitch. You're on with Jim Doc Suddy.
Mm-hmm.
I am pretty good with my wedges, or at least pitching wedge, that sort of thing, but my chipping is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, are there some things that you notice the average golfer does when they're chipping that they need to improve on?
Well, chipping, good question. First of all, much of chipping is just in your setup. I mean, if you can get your setup with your head on right on the ball and your ball back in your stance with your weight on your front leg, you're going to all of a sudden be better at that part of the game. But too many chippers use their wrist too much. So what you want to do there is just feel like you're using your shoulders and arms and have a teeny little turn as you come through. But chipping is less motion the better, I would say. Again, you don't want to use your wrist a lot. So.
Hey, Doc, can I add something to that?
Mm-hmm, sure can.
Mitch, I don't know, I've never seen you chip, obviously, but if you're trying to chip by feel using like a sand wedge or a pitching wedge to hit all your chips and trying to control distance by controlling, your arms and your hands and everything and how hard you hit the ball, you might want to think of just changing clubs and using a 6-iron to go so far and use the same swing every time and just change the loft on the club. Does that work, Doc?
Oh, yeah, that's good for the average guy. The more you can get it low on the ground and let it run to the hole, the better. So using a lower lofted club, 6, 7, 8, 9-iron is good. Stay away from those sand wedges and lob wedges for chipping if you can.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks for the question. Yeah, I see too many guys using sand wedges and trying to hit it out of the greenside rough, and unless you've practiced that, you understand how much moisture's in the grass. You could open up a chili dip factory, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, they see the pros take that lob wedge and sand wedge right off the green, but they don't know the pros work on that shot constantly. So
the pros may hit that shot 300 times in a day.
Right, exactly.
And that's how serious they are because they're that's how they make their living.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another point about equipment.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such, I'm going to make a statement, you react to it. There's no such thing as a magic club because if there was, every one of those people on the tours would have one in their bag.
That's true, Phil. I think, the future of club fitting, as I've said earlier in the show, is going to be matching how the shaft bends in the person's hand at the top and how he loads it and unloads it coming down. And they're doing that now, but very few companies, OEMs, are actually taking advantage of that. They're looking at club head speed at impact and not where the shaft bends. And so I'm predicting that to happen in the next 10 years. That's what direction things will go. But we got to do some catching up, I guess.
Well, that's pretty much it. What I wanted to do, though, is give you a chance to tell everybody exactly when you get to Cog Hill and how to make an appointment to see the great Jim Suddy.
Well, you're kind to say the great Jim Suddy. I just am a golf teacher and do my best, but I am available to all people, beginners as well as tour players, and my number is 1-800-765-3838. And I really wanted to thank you for having me on the show and thank Cog Hill for allowing me to teach there. It's a great spot, and I love the people there at Cog Hill. So,
do you have a website, Jim?
Yes, it's www.jimsuddy.com. It's a nice website, very complete, has all the programs that I offer on it. So
does it have music?
I haven't done that far yet, Phil. But the way things are going, it might happen. So.
I got one more question to you. It's kind of a fun thing with me because I've been at odds with those people over the years. What do you think of the natural golf swing and the golf clubs that they sell people?
Well, I don't like the equipment that much, but there is a place for the swing that they teach, because a lot of people are not physically able to do a normal swing, but it's a very right-sided swing, and it does work for some people. I have seen it work, so I would not teach it, but I have seen it work for some people, and again, Phil, I knew Mo Norman quite well, and one of the questions I asked Mo one time, it says, "Can people do this?" And he said, Nope. I'm the only one. So, so what I'm saying, it's a difficult swing, I think, to master. So,
well, years ago, I used to be against it, 100%, because what would happen is guys would make the investment. It was approximately $100 a club.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you something. Those clubs, they were making $96 on a club.
Right.
After a period of time, your scores may improve with that system. But then you're going to realize, as you get better, that you're going to need to work the ball a little bit once in a while, and you can't do it with those clubs or that swing. But now the equipment has come around and evolved to where you can't do it anyway.
Well, that's true, and there's nothing like good fundamentals to make a better player. So fundamentals are the way to go if people want to get better, and it's not just a one-lesson deal. Unfortunately, it's a commitment on the student's part. So.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, Doc Suddy, thanks very much. I'll repeat the phone number for making an appointment with Doc. Again, he gets to Cog Hill May 15th if you just tuned in. And that's it. We'll see you when you get to town.
Okay, Phil, my pleasure. It's always great to talk to you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
This is Phil Kosin. This is the Chicagoland Golf Show. This is the Score Sports Radio 670, and this is CBS Radio Chicago. Well, when you go out and play today, if you're going out, keep an eye to the sky, because we're going to have showers and thunderstorms, and the radar west of here is really lighting up. So pay attention so that you can continue to play another day. I know. I don't mean to belabor warning you. I don't want to start sounding like WGN, but wear a coat because it's cold out. But, that's... Okay, the Futures Tour is playing this weekend, and I promised that I would get back with our locals, because we always like to publicize what they're doing, because they don't get much publicity. The $110,000 historic Brownsville Open is going on this weekend down in Rancho Viejo, Texas. And what a surprise, they've got wind down there and rain. It is the spring, And despite all that, Sarah Lynn Sargent, who grew up here in the Chicago area, her father was Ralph Johnstone. She was Sarah Johnstone from St. Charles, Illinois. Illinois Open champion about 4 years ago, is now out playing the tour. She's tied for first with a 69, and that's good to see, because she's been struggling lately. And other local players that are involved in that event, and like I said, it's tough scoring conditions because of the wind and everything that's going on down there. Jenna Pearson from Wheaton shot 77, and Nicole Jure shot 78. So there you have it. And, okay, for those two people that emailed me and told me they don't like to hear gloomy stuff, you might want to turn down your volume again, because I want to talk about what's going on in the LPGA Tour. This is stuff, though, that I think golfers that take an interest in watching, and people that take an interest in watching golf on TV, what's happening due to the economy on the pro tours is really sad. And as I have been writing for years, the players are going to have to get used to not only fewer events, but smaller purses. And this week, another one went down. The Corning Classic announced that next month's edition of the Corning Classic, which was kind of a neat little tournament for years. It's in Corning, New York. Of course, Corning is Corningware. The stuff you use, everybody's got it in their kitchen for baking. They just can't afford, the sponsor just can't afford, they just laid off 1,300 people. They just can't afford to continue coughing up $3 million a year when they're laying people off. And it was a favorite for a lot of the LPGA Tour players because over the years, it ran for about 31 years. A lot of the players enjoyed it because it had a small-town feel. It had a big-time atmosphere. It was like a carnival. There was a lot of enthusiasm from the fans, from the volunteers, the tournament organizers. But in recent years, it's been hard to get volunteers. It's been hard to sell tickets. And the spokespeople from Corning said that they lost $500,000 in sponsors' revenue last year, and they can't continue. They can't continue doing it. And the interesting quote was, it costs them $3 million to do the tournament now, and when they first started doing the tournament 30 years ago, it cost them $200,000. So you can see what's happened. And if the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour are going to want to survive, they're going to have to cut their purse money. They're going to have to drop some of these demands that they have on sponsors, because it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And these cocky PGA Tour players that don't want to pay any attention to the fans, although I will announce that the numbers are up regarding PGA Tour players making visits to the sponsors' tents. As you remember last fall, and then again this spring, Commissioner Tim Fincham of the PGA Tour made a special request that the players go out of their way for the sponsors who are putting up $7 million a week on average on the PGA Tour to pay for the purse and television spots and so on, to go to their sponsor's tent and just go shake a few hands, press the flesh, kiss a few babies, that kind of thing. Just put in an appearance to make it special for the sponsor. And that is one of the ways the tour is trying to keep enthusiasm for its product out there. And so it turns out now that within the last few weeks, those numbers have swung around, and a lot of the players are stopping in those tents. Not Phil Mickelson, not Tiger Woods, to my knowledge. So it's really a shame what's happened on the LPGA Tour, because they're down 3 events this year from what they had last year. And there's going to be more. Earlier this year, FBR on the PGA Tour decided that it was not going to renew its contract with the PGA after next year, so they're done. That's the tournament in Phoenix. That's the one where everybody gets drunk and hangs around the 16th hole, the par 3 that looks like an elongated baseball stadium with the seating and the bleachers all the way around. U.S. Bank said already that it's pulling out of Milwaukee after this year, and they had a secondary sponsor, and I think it was some health care, but they're also pulled out. So it's going to be a struggle to put on a tournament in Milwaukee after this year, and I wish those folks luck. But this is not the economy to be shopping for someone that's going to pick up a $5 to $7 million tab for a tournament, especially one that's got dates against the British Open. Ginn Resorts, they have ended all of their golf sponsorships. That's including the LPGA's Ginn Open and the Champions Tour Ginn Championship. That's big dollars. And that's, the tour, Tim Fincham said last fall that our contracts are written very tight and we're bulletproof on those. And so we don't have to worry about our future or the near future on the PGA Tour. What Tim Fincham didn't realize was when you put in the word bankruptcy, those contracts are all null and void. Crown Plaza has said this last couple weeks they're going to drop sponsorship of the PGA Tour event at the Colonial, Byron Nelson's old tournament, the Colonial Country Club. Next year will be the last year for Crown Plaza. And also in the last few days, you had the Michelob Ultra Open, an LPGA event at Kingsmill. Remember Curtis Strange was involved with that course he didn't design it. I think he lived down there or lived on the course. He was their spokesperson. Anyway, Anheuser-Busch peoples will not talk about a contract extension past this year, and a lot of the insiders that I'm talking to say that Anheuser-Busch, which is also hurting these days, which is a surprise. Maybe it's people, now that it's not an American beer, it's owned by a European company, maybe they're not so interested in Budweiser. But they're probably not going to renew either. So it's going to be real interesting. On the other hand, though, the LPGA Tour has got all kinds of events that they might be able to put on in Asia because there's a lot of money there. And you've seen the European Tour. They're heading down toward Dubai and places like that, which those people down there are pumping oil, and they've got plenty of money. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I want to thank our producer, the world-class NASCAR Dave White, and our guests, Jack Barry and Doc Jim Suddy. Doc comes back to Cog Hill May 15th, and here's the number to get a hold of him and make yourself an appointment, 800-765-3838. Don't forget the print edition of Chicagoland Golf, available free at golf courses all over Chicagoland. Don't forget our website for news between issues and shows, ChicagolandGolf.com. If you missed parts of today's show or you're a true masochist, you can download a podcast later this morning at 670thescore.com. Until the next time, this is Phil Kosin saying, keep it in the short stuff, everyone. This has been a Pull My Finger production.
So contagious. Let's be outrageous.
Thanks for tuning in to Chicagoland Golf with Phil Kosin on every Saturday from 6 to 8 a.m. on 670 The Score.